Hey guys, in this short tutorial, we're going to teach you how to build your own YouTube studio. There's so many benefits to having your own YouTube channel these days that everyone who's doing business should do it, or for your personal brand, just share what you know, interview your friends. So Steven's going to walk us through how he builds a YouTube studio here in our small office. So check it out.
For something like this, I'm gonna probably use something like a 35 to 50 millimeter. But this is a zoom lens. It's a 24-70 because I want to get like maybe like chest up of micro, and I don't want too much of the cluster in the shot, so I'm gonna go a little tighter. No, actually 35 to 85. That's like the most flattering for focal length for people. Because any wider than that, then you start getting distortion, and any like tighter than that, it's really hard. Then I have to back up all the way, maybe to 101. And you want the camera to kind of be like eye level-ish. You don't want to be like shooting downward, because that removes the authority from micro. If you like go high and then you like tilt it down. Now that's the camera angle is like set up. I'm gonna set up the light first before I dial in the settings. For like most standard shoots, you want a 3-point lighting. That's usually a key light from either side. It could be on either side, 45-degree angle. And when you set up the light, you want the light stand. You want one leg to be where your light is going to be facing, so there's more support. Ideally, you want to put some sandbags on it, but I don't have any sandbags, so. When you shine like harsh light on someone, the shadows are very sharp, and that's like not a very desired look. So you want to like soften it. If you turn on the light like this, right, like the light's gonna be like more spread out. So there's gonna be more spill on the background and on like things that are next to your subject. But you want to draw the attention to the subject. So like when you put on the honeycomb, it kind of like it prevents it from like spreading out too much, so there's less spill. It's going to be more directional. So right now what I'm thinking is, like, since we have the natural light, sometimes it's powerful enough and it's a kind of a cloudy day, so I'm going to try to see if I can bring, because like the key light, so you have one key light to the side and then you have one fill light to like kind of bring up the shadows a little bit, but not too much. You still want the key light to be the brightest, to have that. Shadows are actually your best friend in video because it creates depth. A lot of people try to like avoid all shadows and light everything, and that's like a very bad soap opera lighting. And then you want to give it a kicker, usually like from behind above your head, to get you some separation. Like from the back, there's like a rim of like light, like on the edge of your like clothes or whatever, and that gives you some separation from the background. Otherwise, you like blend in. Usually I like to put the kicker like, on the opposite side of, like direct opposite side of the key light. So if the key light's from the right, I put the kicker on the left. So I'm gonna try to match the sunlight. Usually if it's sunny, it's around 56 Kelvin. So first of all, there's the color temperature. You wanna like dial it in. Don't use auto white balance, it's usually really bad. So this you can just eyeball it, but usually when it's like more blue, you want to go up. When it's more yellow, you want to go down. The next one, usually I shoot in 24p, which is now it's 30p. That means every second there's 24 pictures or 30 pictures, right? So like the more pictures you have, the less, the more sharp it'll be. Like when you look at my hand when I'm moving, there's like some motion blur, and 24p is going to be the closest to human eyes. That's why like movies usually use 24p, but like broadcast or like TV, they usually use 30, and that's why sometimes you find those like TV shows a little weird and less cinematic, if I can even use that word. P, you usually want your shutter speed. That's how much your shutter closes and opens to be twice that. So like 24p, you want 1/48 of a second, but like these cameras usually don't have that. So I'm just gonna go to 50. And then the last one is aperture. The bigger the number, the smaller the aperture. That's the aperture is like the opening of the lens, yeah. So like you let more light in when the aperture number is smaller. So in this case, I'm gonna prioritize my aperture because I want to blur it out background. And because it's too bright and I don't have ND filters or like something to block out the window, I'm just gonna raise my shutter speed. This is gonna create less motion blur, so like the movements will seem sharper, but you're mostly sitting down and talking, you're not moving around, so like theoretically there won't be much of a difference. And the last one is ISO, you wanna be as low as possible basically. You could get something like this, you know, like very small, at least this I think was like 3,000 or something. Use it as a kicker and that's it. Like if you only have 1 or 2 lights, key light is the most important, then kicker, then fill. Usually I try to create a little contrast. So like now it's like daylight, very bluish.
Yeah.
So sometimes I like set my rim light to be a little warmer,
Okay.
like lower in Kelvin. Yeah, this one you just also eyeball. I'm probably gonna set it to like 3,000, and then like maybe not too bright. So now we're gonna have next. Like, just give me a favor. I'm gonna film it. Okay, turn it on. You can see there's a little bit of color in her hair.
Okay, so you're bringing out the colors like behind her. And
Yeah, and also to give her a little bit of separation from the background. And on again.
yeah, I see.
So-
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like so we talked about podcast format earlier, but I guess we're not doing that. If we're not doing that, we're just gonna use some kind of a microphone. So a couple of things to pay attention to is like when you're talking, you don't want it to be clipping. You don't want the audio to like go to the red part.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Like this is
7,
too loud.
8,
Like
9,
it's
10,
it's clipping.
11, 12.
So you want it to be like maybe 80% for the most part, and when she's like low, when her voice is lower, keep counting.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You don't want it
6,
to
7, 8, 9,
you don't want it to go too low, like preferably not below -6, but -12 is safe-ish. And when she's loud,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
you don't want it to
6, 7,
you don't want it to like touch the
10, 9,
you know
8,
the end
7,
of
6,
the
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So the ideal would
5,
be
6,
like somewhere between -12 and -3.
Mhm.
That's like the ideal range
7,
usually.
12.
So basically, to recap, you want to create more depth, and that's by like finding a good angle. You know, have some separation from the background. That's key. And then like the second thing is like your lighting. For most standard shots, you want to create a 3-point lighting. So like a key light, the brightest, a fill light, and a kicker. The key light is to just like, you know, the primary source of your light. Fill light is to bring up the shadows a little bit so the contrast is not too strong. And then the kicker is to have some separation, or some people call it hair light, because it usually lights up the hair. In terms of framing, actually, I forgot to talk about framing. You usually, for most standard shots, you usually want to pay attention to where the eyes are. So like you want to like, if you have like grid, you usually want like the rule of thirds.
Yeah.
It's very important in composition. So you usually want to put your eyes right on like the top 1/3, like of the frame. But like it also depends. And sometimes if you want to create a little interest, you can also instead of putting your subject dead in the center, you can also put him or her like on like the left or right 1/3 of the shot, the frame, to create more interest. But when you do that, like so for example, right now you're putting me on the right side of the frame, right? You want me to like face the spacious side instead of this side, because this is also okay, but like it's an artistic choice. So if you put me on the same side, on the right side, and have me face this way, it gives a more like claustrophobic feeling and maybe like a trapped feeling. But sometimes it's also more emotional. So like when you're getting more emotional, you can also have your subject on the like facing the tighter end, the tighter side, and like this is more standard. So like in an interview setup, I could be like talking to someone here, and this is like the spacious side, or I can just talk to the camera like this, but still be on like one side of the camera, but like still talk to the camera like this. Maybe I can have some props here, or like, you know, a logo or like a whiteboard or something like that. So these are like some of the because it's a one person, one camera setup. So like there's not a lot of composition rules to know, but like these are some of the more standard ones you can think about. So yeah, that's finding a good angle, lighting, framing, and then like the audio part. You just want to get like as clean as possible, your audio track. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you, in terms of this setup, that's that. So a 2-person setup is very different. So.
Okay, so that was it. That's how you make your own YouTube studio. So best of luck and enjoy creating content.